Hello, I'm your guest today, Carl Williams. The day is August, what, the 29th?
28th?
28th? Oh, this month is gone.
Yes.
2018. And this is my co-host. You tell them your
Gloria
name,
Ann
so
Searles.
I don't want to mess your name up.
Gloria Ann Searles.
And
Hello.
we're here bringing you news and things that you need to know. And I'm going to start out like I used to a long time ago, and I stopped, and I guess I should have kept it up. Uh, all you viewers, we want you to get a copy of your Constitution, your state Constitution, federal Constitution, and this little small pamphlet. It's called the Basic Human Rights. You need all three of those. And you can call Gary Peters' office and get one. And Debbie Stebanoff, they mailed me a federal constitution. And they're free, don't cost you anything. Uh, you also need a copy or access to. I always like to have my own copies because when I get ready to look for something, it's right there where I can reach it and grab it and flip it over. A copy and get familiar with the Administrative Procedure Act. Some of y'all may have heard of it, some of you may not have heard of it, but that's a very important act because what the Administrative Procedure Act does, it governs the procedures of all agencies, all agencies. It tells you how they are supposed to conduct themselves when they're passing increase, um, if they want to make an amendment to something, or they want to add something, or they want to publish something, that's where you find it. They'll let you know you have so many days, 10 days, and then 60 days after it's been approved. That's really talking about bills now, because before it comes final. Just because Congress or somebody passed something, that don't make it automatic right away. It has a, like what I call the incubation period. You have to wait 60 days before it legally becomes law. Well, that's the same thing with some of these I guess you would say bills or things. Like, oh, I'll give you a prime example. The $45 parking ticket that you got,
Yeah.
which is illegal because they didn't follow the process. You know, Kevin Orr, he made a proposal for them to have $45 parking tickets. But nowhere else in this country do I know of anybody having $45 parking ticket. And when I went back to do some research, I think some of them was 10, some of them was 20. I think the high it got was 30, and the only way it would get 30 in that particular case is whether it started off at 10, then it went to 20, and then 60 days after the 20, then it went up to 30. And that's still less than what we're paying, which is $45, and ours start at 45, and then it goes up to either 65 or $75. Now that's just total ridiculous, and that's what I call price gouging, because that's exactly what it is. I'm just gonna say it. This administration is the most lawless administration we have had that I known of, because everything that they do is illegal, and most of the people are not aware. They just assume that, oh, well, he's the mayor, and, you know, they wouldn't do this. Oh, yes, they would. The man is a gangster. You should hear a son say it all the time. He's a gangster. And this is proof. Everything that they have done, from the parking ticket, they didn't follow the administrative procedure, they didn't publish it, they didn't have hearings, they didn't do none of the essential things that you're supposed to do as far as the process is concerned when you're talking about raising fees for a ticket. And the same thing with this drainage. I done got so many calls about that until this is off the chain. This storm water drainage, he's not following the law on that. See, it'd be different if I sat here and said that and didn't have no proof or just speculating. But I'm telling you what I know, because I didn't send, I just, with the parking ticket, I sent them the law, and I protest my ticket, and they got all the laws. They know what they have violated. If they didn't know, they know now.
Yeah.
And they haven't did anything. Matter of fact, behind me telling them that and them telling me that I was supposed to see an administrative judge, what they turn around and do, I guess the judge couldn't refute the issues. Then the director, James Candy, I think that's C-A-N-T-Y, he sent me another notice and a ticket with his name on it, raised the amount that's supposed to be owed, and changed the date. Now, if that ain't lawless, what's lawless? That ticket I got back in March or April. It had to be March because I went to court in April. Yeah, back in March. And here this man changed the date, took March and April off there, put July on there, and like he just now issuing the ticket and made it higher than what it was generally was, which was $45, and his was 70. I think it was 65. I'm gonna give him the benefit of the doubt. Let's say $65. Still wrong. I don't care if you say 100 or if you say $25. It's still wrong, because I was supposed to. They denied me due process, and that's what they call due process. Anytime you're supposed to see a administrative law judge because the magistrate couldn't really make a decision on my case on the $45 parking ticket, well then you ain't supposed to act like that, turn around and say, oh, well, I can't refute the issue, so we just ain't going to let him talk to the judge. We ain't going to let him talk to the administrative law judge. What we'll do, we just send him another one, and if he don't pay it, then we'll take him to court. So, they were using them intimidation, scare tactics, don't work here. They didn't do nothing but make me mad. I want to write some more, and that's exactly what I did. So I put everything that I'm in my dispute that I'm telling y'all, and I send it back to him. And I told him, I said, man, you have committed fraud. This is what you call concealment, fraudulent concealment. Anytime you cover up something to hide the truth, to do something else, that's what they call fraudulent concealment. And I ain't nothing I'm making up. The statute is MCL 600.5855. And you can look it up for yourself if you don't believe me. I prefer you looking it up for yourself, because so you could get familiar with it, and then you might need it. I'm pretty sure you will need it the way this administration is being run, whether you know it or not. But those are the things, and I'm going to repeat again, make sure you get a Michigan Constitution, state constitution, federal constitution, basic human rights, and if you can, get a copy of the Administrative Procedure Act. You can download it off the internet. I had one that was about that thick, but the part that you need, it's about 3 or 4 pages. The only reason why mine was that thick because they cite cases, and after each section, they have cases they will cite. So I got the whole thing. I got the cases that they cited, referring to the policy, like they might say, you have 10 days to do so and so and so and so. Then at the end of it, they have maybe 3 or 4 or 5, 6 cases that they may cite. I just looked through there, and the one that fit me the best, I copy it down, and I keep all those things. And there's another thing, I just wanted to get that out before, I forget things. Sometimes we get to talking about something and get on a certain subject, and you never can get back to it. So I wanted to make sure that I got that out to the public. And I know most of you know that we lost my dear friend and companion and brother, Hassan. He passed away this month, the 8th. The 8th. And the funeral was, I think it was the 16th. And family day was the 15th. The viewing, the body was the 15th. And for those who been calling me and asking for an obituary, I have a few with me. I'll leave down here. And then they run out, well, then you just give me a call, 521-5012, and I'll see to it that you get it. The obituary, I just got to say it because it's on my heart. It didn't do him any justice because it left out some things that I think were very important. Hassan, he was a Muslim, but nothing was said about that. And, that's kind of rubbed me the wrong way, but, wasn't in my hands or what I could do. So, but you all out there know Hassan. He always, joyful, always the same way, He get mad sometimes. You wouldn't hardly know it, but he had a way of letting you know in his cellar jokes. So he lets you know that he was mad. And people ask me what has happened. I didn't really want to talk about it, but you deserve to know. So I'll tell you the best as I can what I think from what I've found out. And that I know that he has a sore on his leg and his feet, and they got infected. I knew he had a sore, but the way he was explained it to me, like it was small, like it wasn't that bad until I seen him in the hospital, and I seen it for myself, and got kind of upset with him because, man, you said you had a little sore. This ain't nothing little. This ain't nothing to be playing with. Well, I guess me and him both, we didn't really like going to the hospital. Well, everybody should try to stay away from it, but, he had a really dislike of going to the hospital. So when I heard that he was there, I know it had to be very serious for him to even be there, because that just ain't him. So, when I got there, me and Gloria, we went there and we talked to him. And what that's puzzling to me is they said that his bowels had bagged up to the top of his stomach.
Yeah, they were saying a lot of stuff that didn't really make sense. That his bowels had kind of, they weren't really moving, and they were saying that maybe they were kind of hinting maybe impacted or was up too high because they were doing the enemas, and that trying to, what they said, trying to trigger a movement and that. And actually that it didn't move him. They were saying it was up too high, I guess closer to his stomach. Usually it's a lot of double talk, being in the
Yeah.
profession so long.
Yeah.
You know, people say some things to just, because the average person don't understand. Oh, okay.
Right.
Oh, okay. But it's, they don't really want to give out too much information.
Well, yeah, I like the way you explained that because what's bothering me is, I got some stuff at home. I know if you can't go, oh, you take that, you gonna go. Dr.
yeah.
Schultz, he has a formula. He got a number of things. One of them, I don't care if he got a clinic in California, and I don't care what's wrong with you. First thing he gonna do, he got what you call a bowel kit
Yeah.
that he do, and it flushes you out. It's not Axlac. No, this is not an Axlac. Trust me, I done been through it. That the number 2 formula, it scrapes the walls of your intestines and all that old feces that's left behind. It scrapes it all out, and then formula 2, it just regulates your bowels. So it makes sure that all that stuff that's compacted and that's up against the walls and that hasn't come out. When you take that one again, it flushes all that out. And a lot of times you see people with a big stomach, or stomach sticking out, and I always used to say that was fat. I didn't know no better, but then after read Schultz's pamphlet, a publication, and I said, well, damn, that makes more sense than all this other stuff. I said, I just never really gave it a serious thought. I just figured it was fat, people fat.
I want to say a lot of crap, whatever that is.
Yeah.
Crap, artificial foods and everything else. But I was thinking about, my parents were Southerners, and as we became north, my mother, that dose of castor oil
Oh, yeah, tell me about it.
with the warm orange juice.
Ooh.
And my mom, some people said they took a tablespoon. My mother, you got a cup.
Oh, that's
You got a cup, and you better not spit that out. But do you know what she gave it? Whatever was ailing you, that next day, you were all right. They did it in the spring, and they did it in the fall.
Talking
And
to
we
the
weren't
choir.
sick. Just people weren't sick. Nobody really had those bellies.
Oh, no. You know what?
People didn't have that belly.
I hadn't really even thought about that.
Yeah,
But
didn't have
you
that
know
belly.
what? You're absolutely right.
they didn't have that kind of belly.
Mm.
Mm-mm. So a lot of that is, like the foods, a lot of stuff that chemistry, I'm not going to say had the nerve, but they've done it. They've made foods out of chemicals, and it looked like food. They can have the artificial odor and smell like food. It'll taste like food, but after you get it in your body and it breaks down, it go back to what it was originally. I think of there's a verse in Proverbs that talks about bread of deceit. It says it's sweet to a man, but afterward his mouth is full of gravel.
Oh,
I mean, he bit it as bread,
yeah.
but when he got through with it, it went back to what it was, gravel. So a lot of that, you look at the ingredients, all the calcium, that's stone. I don't care about a mineral. It's stone, powdered stone. So you got all these substances in it. I mean, how does it move?
Move, right.
It's not like you're eating your leafy type herbs and that. So you're eating something that's just stone. How's it gonna move? It's going to set. There was an article while I'm talking about it. There was an article about Twinkies.
Yeah.
A student gave that to me, I think, back in 2008, and it had this like plaster of Paris in it. And they, 70 years you've been giving this to people, and the student was hesitant to even share the article with me. She thought I'd get mad. I said, I won't get mad. I just want everybody else to know, not just me, the rest of the class and any other class I taught. I want them to know. But you've got all these powdered rock flavors and this and that and stuff that make it gummy and this and that. It sets just like you put a cast on somebody. You put that cast on there wet, and by the time you're finished putting that cast on, it gets hard.
Yeah.
So that stuff hardens over time, and it causes a lot of problems, bowel blockages and the like. So a lot of that is artificial stuff, fast food stuff, I'm going to say it, and some other stuff that we've been taught to eat as food that's not food. Not food according to Scripture. But according to science, yeah, they call it food.
Now you heard it here. You heard it here. You are eating rock.
It says tasty chemicals, but then what did they make the chemicals from?
Right. Yeah. I lost that thought just that quick. But, the things that you're saying, people need to know, because they are a perfectionist of this, what the generic food, I would call it. They are perfectionists. Like they have seedless oranges. Tastes just like a regular orange.
Yeah.
I mean, you can't tell from the taste,
Yeah.
but I don't buy it. If it don't have seeds in it, I try to stay away from it. But it's kind of hard to find something with seeds. Yeah. And for all you listeners out there, you need to start demanding that these markets have stuff with seeds. Ask for it, because if enough people ask for it, they'll get it. But they get this other stuff because it's cheaper. And you don't know if it's not grown as the Creator created it to be, so it can replenish itself with the seeds. What are you eating? You have no idea.
That's right. And read the labels. It's written. If you just turn the can or whatever it is over and just read ingredients, and if it's supposed to be greens, it should say greens. A potatoes. But if it's got a list about an inch thick, long, of these words you can't pronounce, and people are buying it, what else you gonna do? Well, don't buy that. Buy something else simpler, save your money, but you're buying stuff that's hurting you. And the system is set up for when it finally accumulates to that level, that dose that need to be in there, then the sickness is going to rapidly come upon you.
Well, we got this phone is kind of lit up. Maybe we take a couple of calls and see what's on their mind. Hello, you on air?
Good morning to both of you guys. How you doing?
Good morning.
Thank you.
There's water runoff. It used to kind of, I got some issues with that, because I heard some commercials over the weekend with radio, and it's referring to the runoff.
Yes, I'm on.
If you got video concrete at your house, you walk way up to your steps in your driveway, and you filled it with gravel, there wouldn't be any runoff. That's fine. And the sad part about it is this. You're being charged every time it rains, every time it snows. You're going to be charged. Now, a my understanding, water is supposed to get and die, as these stand water. So this water come down, runs off your property, and whether that property is occupied or not. In other words, if you got 100-acre houses you're trying to rent off, you still get the water bill, even though there's no water coming in your house. That's what they're saying. And what was the name of that guy who Snyder got to start charging people for run off anyway? What's his name? He was ex-police officer. He's running. He's over the water.
I didn't understand that. What'd you say?
I said, what is that guy's name who they have running the water department now?
You mean Gary Brown?
He used to be an ex-police.
Gary
Oh, yeah,
Brown.
yeah.
Well, I'm going to talk about this drainage fee anyway because I done made some dispute forms where people can fill them out, send them in, and don't pay that storm water fee because it's illegal anyway. But that was what I'm going to be talking about the next 10 minutes.
Yeah, we need to make that walkway and that driveway gravel. That way that water is not running away from your house because everything else is grass. That water is soaked directly down to the ground.
Well, when I get through talking about it, you won't even have to do that. You got to realize one thing, and I keep saying it, and it ain't caught on yet. Where is the law? There is no law that gives them the authority to do that. And you already been paid. You're paying for your drainage fee. And at first they tried to act like it was two separate things. Oh, we talking about the water that when it's snow or rain. I'm going to use what they use. They say storm water. Look up the word storm. It's the difference between a storm and a regular rainfall. We very seldom we don't even have that much rain, let alone talking about a storm to be charged.
Why can't we can't hold it from our bill?
Every month they want to charge you. Well, then they already started. My last bill that I got, it was $60.23. Now it went up to, excuse me, it was $20.63. Now it's $23 and something cents. So it went up $3.25.
For now.
It's just a runoff fee.
Yeah, that's the one-off fee, but they don't tell you that. They just stuck it in there. This next bill that you get, you look on the other side and it'll say drainage information. And then when you go to the other side, and I think it did say something about impervious in little writing. Then you go back to the other side where they got your added up, the drainage fee and all that other stuff, and you see that it went up. Well, see, they just can't arbitrarily just raise something without publishing it. Like I was talking about the Administrative Procedure Act. That applies to this incident too. You have a procedure that you have to go through when you want to raise these fees and stuff. You just can't arbitrarily just say, well, I think it's time to raise it and just raise it. But what they are telling you when they say storm water, well, then that's just fraud then. Because storm, like I said, you have a storm every now and then. And you can count them on one hand every year how many times you have a storm. So how can they justify charging you every month? I don't care if it is $3 for me, but $3 for me, $3 for you, $3 for everybody, and let's say it's 600 people. That's a lot of money. But we don't look at it like that. But we need to start looking at it like that because what they're doing, they're trying to nickel and dime us to death. I'm saying if they're following the law, well, then I will have to go another way and challenge it. But they're not following the law. They are doing everything illegal, and if we don't say anything about it, they're going to continue to do it. So I have these forms. They should be here today by 1 o'clock because I'm going to have to leave and go back and bring some and have them here for you, because people have been asking about this drainage fee, and when you go through it, it covers everything, because they trying to call it a fee, which is really is a tax. It's a tax. We have 2 cases, both versus City of Lansing. It tells you what a tax is, and it tells you what a fee is. And it tells you that a fee is voluntary, and that a tax, you have to vote on it. So they know that if we vote on it, we're going to vote it down. So what they did, they call it a fee. That's fraudulent concealment again. That's fraudulent. Now, that's really fraudulent concealment, because they know. It ain't like they made mistakes. Just like I sent them a copy of a dispute on that, I also sent them a copy of the dispute on this. And I'm not the only one, because I've been passing them out, and a few people got them, and they said they were going to make copies and send them in. So it ain't like, oh, we did this and we made a mistake. This was intentional. So they intentionally extorting money from the citizens for profit. That's exactly what they're doing. I mean, I'm just going to call it like it is. Yeah, Duggins, he's shown enough out and out gangster. He is aware of all this. And not one time have he said, well, we're going to look into it. They haven't said nothing, won't even address it. You know, sometimes they teach you that in law school sometimes, you know, it's best to say nothing when you don't have a defense. Then you don't give them nothing to argue about. But yeah, that drainage fee is wrong. It's 2 left shoes. And they, you know, first they was calling it just drainage fee. That was a couple of years ago, because I sent some disputes in on that. And I guess they got slick and just said, well, we ain't going to call it drainage fee. We're going to call it storm water drainage now. Now that's different. Now, here's the killer on this. Everybody's aware of what sewage is, and sewage got everything in it. It got poop, we got no telling what you might get in sewage. Now, your storm water, they just say that all they want to do is get the dirt out. So if that's the case, why are you charging us more for the storm water fee than you are the drainage under the sewage part of your water bill? Look at it. Now, I ain't crazy. I might be a little forgetful, but I ain't crazy. You ain't going to tell me that it takes more to separate the dirt out of the water than it do the poop and all that other stuff that's in the sewage. Now, am I missing something? I must be missing something. I mean, let me just think about that. Just think about that for a minute. You know, it just that's not even rational. But you know, they got it down to a science. They put this deputy director on TV, I think last week and week before last. She's the assistant director. She's an engineer now, and she's highly educated, and she get out there and she knows she's just talking, and she sounds good because ain't nobody challenged her. And she was on there with an attorney, Barry Keller, on his show at 10 o'clock on Saturdays. He comes on. And he's sitting there with her. Now, the average citizens that's looking at this get the wrong impression, because you got this attorney up here, and he's not saying anything. He's agreeing with this woman who's sitting up here who's giving you misinformation. She telling you, yeah, that this is storm water drainage and it's separate. But here's the key: the sewage, the what storm water drainage, all that stuff goes in one pipe. One pipe. They call it the main sewer line.
Yeah.
And it goes to the plant, the facility, and when it goes in there, then excuse me, it siphons the water or strains the water. Just like if you got one of those, what you call them? Oh, God, I can't think. And you pour the water through, and it catches the water and leave the other stuff in it. That is a strainer,
That's
ain't
like
it?
a strainer.
Okay, that's a strainer. Well, that's the same thing they do in this plant. They take all the garbage and all the stuff out, strain it 2 or 3 times, or however they do it, and put the chemicals in there, and then you drink it. One time, not 5 times, not 3 times, not 2, one time. So why they want you to pay twice?
You don't know.
I mean, you know, they really must think that we're stupid. We can't think, we can't function. Well, you know, that's what Kevin Orr told, I think it was the mayor. Don't quote me on that, but let me put it this way. Kevin Orr is the one that said, well, we're dumb, stupid, fat, and poor. Yeah. So they say, well, if he say that, they must be, so they treating us like that. And as long as we lie and don't fight back, they're going to continue to do it. Every time they do something that I see, I'm responding. And that's what me and Hassan does. We sit down, we talk and discuss, and now it's me, him, well, it was me, him, and Gloria. Now it's me and Gloria, but it was all 3 of us. And Dee Dee, and, you know, that's what we do. We sit down and discuss things that affect the community, and we give you our spin on it. Look, we don't get paid for doing this. We're doing this because we care, and that's what we put here to do. That's the way I feel. That's what we put here to do. Somebody's got to tell you, because ain't nobody really telling you the truth.
Yeah, that's true.
So, you know, if that's our job. Oh, we got a few more calls. Hello, you on the air?
Good morning, Carl. Good morning, Gloria.
Oh, good morning.
Can we do one? No, first thing. Why are they measuring by acres in the city of Detroit? We don't have acres.
That's to confuse you. You know you don't have an acre, so when you look at it, they put it's on your bill. If you haven't got it yet, it'll be on the next one. They're telling you that 43,000 and I don't forget exactly what the figure is, and they're saying that that's equal an acre. Why are you talking about an acre? There's nobody in the city of Detroit got a roof that is an acre. So why is they doing it? To confuse you. We deal with square foot. So why are they talking about? I just told you, to confuse you. Get you off the real subject, talking about acres and stuff like that, instead of talking about the real thing, which is the thing is illegal.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Didi.
Can we do a class action lawsuit?
Yeah, there can be a class action lawsuit on that. And no, you know what? Yeah, we can, but we don't really have to. But if we do, it'll be a no-brainer, because the case that I got from you and the other case that I had, Boat versus City of Lansing, and Hopper Woods, I think, Vote versus the city, both say, and now this one was judge just made a decision on this June 18th, and he said that it was not a fee, that it was a tax.
That has to be voted on.
Yeah. Oh, you got it.
Yeah.
You got it.
And aren't they slowly but surely going up a little bit more each month?
Well, I got the forms where you don't even have to pay it. I made up some
Okay.
forms, and you can fill them out. There's a place in there where you can fill out how much your drainage fee is before they raised it, how much it is now, and you just take how much it was from how much it is now, and the difference is what the drainage fee is, and you opt out from paying it. And just
Last
pay your
thing,
regular
real quick.
bill.
North Carolina, yesterday the courts came down with a decision about gerrymandering and how it keeps the Republicans in Congress, and they said that they have to change those districts before the November election.
Oh, yeah. See, they study at work.
Yeah.
Study at work. The Republicans, see, they know one thing. If it's a high turnout, they know that they're going to lose. So they had to figure out other ways. So you're seeing how devious they are to win. And they believe in doing anything at any cost. And half of this stuff, again, I keep saying this, I don't want to sound redundant, but it's just the truth. That's illegal, too, the way they're doing it. The law is not illegal, but the way they implement the law makes it illegal.
Thank you guys for coming on, and I'm enjoying your show.
And thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Caller, you on the air.
Okay, quickly, with the fakery and the trickery of the fines and the fees and the thievery that's going on with our tax money, will you repeat all those constitutions and those human rights literature that we need to stay focused and to study and maybe come as a group and study our rights? Because as long as people don't know their rights, they will continue to love and live a lie that will constitute their own demise. Thank you for taking my call. Love you all.
Love you. Once again, it's the state constitution, the federal constitution, the human rights pamphlet, and a copy which you can download it on the internet is the Administrative Procedure Act. And the Administrative Procedure Act describes and tells you the procedure and what they're supposed to do and how they're supposed to do it, how long, and it just tells you the process. And that's what we need, because if, like Theo say, if you knew better, you would do better. That's right. We will make, the only reason why we make these dumb decisions because half the time we misinformed.
Yeah.
It ain't because we stupid, it's because we misinformed. And with these booklets that I told you, and I want to name one more thing else too, the scriptures. She sit here and she tell you what it's been saying and makes it plain today. It's nothing confusing about it when you understand.
That's right.
So if you got all those 5 things that I'm talking about, you well covered. You can just about cover anything. Because, oh yeah, and one more thing I forgot. The charter and the charter. With those things, when they talk about the law, the basis have to be based on a charter, based on the Constitution, the federal or the state constitution. If it's not, it don't mean anything. And if it is, when you go to the book, most of the time they're lying to you or misinforming you. Then you'll see the lie that they told you. Just like they used to talk about Article 2, Section 9 of the Michigan State Constitution. They said that you no longer could file a petition because it had an appropriation fee in there. That's not what it says. It do say appropriation, but it say appropriation fee for state funding. That's what it says. Only for state funding. And let me get it right, because I don't want to misquote it. And we have read it on this station numerous of times. Article 2, Section 9. Okay. Maybe under the power initiative extends only to the laws which the legislature may enact under this Constitution. The power of the referendum does not extend to an act making appropriations for the state institution to meet deficits in the state funding and must be invoked in a manner prescribed by law within 90 days following the final adjournment of the legislative session at which this law was enacted. And I'm going to read that again. The power of a referendum, that is what we, the people, use when we got a public act 4 and got rid of that state law. That's what we use, a referendum. And we all got rid of the law. And that's when they come back with 436. And what we should have did is went right back again with the referendum. Does not extend to act making appropriation for state institution or to meet deficits in the state funding and must be invoked in the manner prescribed by law within 90 days following the final adjournment of the legislative session at which the law was enacted. It don't say nothing about it's just a blanket law where it's got probation and you cannot file a petition. Yes, you can. The reason why they did that because the people were feeling that's your power. So when they make law, you can nullify that with a referendum. And once the people do it, and they get enough signatures, guess what? It takes 3/4 votes in both houses to overturn it. That's almost impossible. But you don't know what your power are. Y'all have to excuse me when I'm pronouncing some of these words and when I'm speaking sometime because I'm having a problem with 2 of my teeth in the front. And it impairs my speech sometimes. So just bear with me, and if you don't understand me, call in. I don't mind repeating it. And, you know, that's just one. In the Michigan State Constitution, you go to Article 2, Section 9, and it's titled Initiative and Referendum, Limitation, Appropriation, and Petitions. So that tells you from the constitutional point of view about initiatives, referendum, limitations, appropriations, and petitions. And it's only really a page because you got about maybe a third, well not even a third, a fourth of the page down here talking about it, then you turn it on to the next page and it ends there. But it's a lot of valuable information in there and you need to get it. And you know, I don't know this whole Constitution. There's certain things in here that I know because I didn't talk about it so much. I can wrap it on top of mine. But these, what I'm telling you, are reference tools. So when you're talking about something, if you can't remember, you can go back and get just like I did a few minutes ago and check it and, you know, explain it to the people. And it's, you know, read it for yourself. That's what, you know, that's my motto. Read it for yourself. When you read it for yourself, you can't be tricked unless you just misunderstood what you wrote. But at least ain't nobody lying to you. Now, if you do it to yourself, well, then that's on you. If you're not sure about what you're reading, ask somebody. You know, don't, and you know, your time is too short now for us to be playing around.
That's for sure.
So, you know, you got to be real with it. And we got a couple of more callers here. Caller, you on the air?
Yes, good morning.
Good morning.
You know, they have not certified the election of August the 7th.
No, they
the
haven't.
City clerk and the Wayne County. You know, when you got a situation like that, I myself step back, say, wait a minute, why am I
Cut it
voting?
short, because we're down on time, Tyrone.
Okay, why am I voting when they don't certify? They hide the charter in examples. So why am I voting? Why don't we sit back and say, I'm not going to vote. We're going to organize and stop this taking our children and our future away down there at the clerk's office. Why don't we do that? Why we keep voting in a process we know is tainted? That's insanity. That's what I'm finding in Detroit. Insanity. We are not stepping back and saying, let's us organize the thousands and put those ends out of office down there. So that's all I got to say.
Okay. Yeah, Tyrone. But see, you keep saying that, but you got to realize this is the only system that you got, and the only reason why we fail in the system is because we don't understand it. Don't know how it's functions. Wait a minute.
It don't make no difference, Carl. If taking the vote and we vote yes and they vote no, it ain't.
Hello, caller. You on the air? This is the last caller.
I'm proud of you, Carl.
Go ahead now, because we only got a minute.
I'm proud of you, Carl.
Thank you. Do you have another comment or question?
No, sir.
Okay, this
Time went, man.
fast hour in show business, as some would say, and it is. Indeed, it was a pleasure, and we got so many calls on this, and I ran into so many people in between last week and this week until we're going to have to continue this here on the health and on the issues with the law, what we call the law. So, and if Gloria, she's available, I will have her back again, because people keep asking me, who is that lady? You going to have her back? You going to have her back? I said, yeah, if I can get her. So, until next week, see you.